Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brent Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? It is Sunday, March 9th, 2025. This is Brent Bovin, and welcome to the motherfucking electronic campfire. We are not politically correct on this show. I strongly believe hunting and brotherhood go hand in hand. So, yes, there will be hazing going on this show. We invite you guys to haze along with us. We are going to dish it out to you guys as well. So, welcome to the brotherhood. We all got each other's backs. Sunday's show is more of our roundtable segment show, covering a variety of different topics. Tuesday's show is our state-specific show where we bring a guest that lives and hunts on that state, and we ask them a variety of different questions, trying to understand that state at a further level. We also have a saying on the show: we record in a slot machine. What I strongly mean by that is just to help share the show, help grow the show. I strongly believe hunting is a dying sport. It's a dying lifestyle. So all we ask everybody out there is just to help share the show. I do want to say thank you to all the men and women in the military. I want to say thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. I also want to say thank you to all the police officers out there, the firefighters, the nurses, the doctors, corrections officers, construction workers, everybody in public service. I want to say thank you for your service. Like I said, today is Sunday, March 9th, 2025. We got Brent on, and tonight with me as well as Johnny and Squatch. Dave is not here, so we're all kind of happy about that. So I invite you all to pull up a chair to the campfire, comment along with us, and let's have a great show tonight. And let's have a great time around the electronic campfire.
What is going on, everyone?
John, Squatch, thank you for coming on. I know we're happy Dave isn't here.
Oh, of course. That dude just ruined. Dude's a ranger, man. He just bangs shit together and breaks stuff. So
that's true. And tonight we have our guest, Brent. Brent, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Before we get into Johnny's segment, I got to ask this question for you real quick, Brent.
Yeah.
Are they antlers or horns?
Both. You know, for me down here, they're interchangeable. The taxidermy shop I'm currently working in, he's dead set on horns. They're horns.
So there you go, Brett. Da-da-da.
No, so the reason I ask that is because Squatch and I have been having this little debate back and forth. Well, they're called antlers. They're called horns. No, in my opinion, they're always called antlers. And then I looked it up. No, motherfucker, put those down.
Wait. Antlers come back year to year. Horns stay constant for their life.
You just ruined the punchline, you motherfucker. I know.
I knew it.
Antlers are made of bone and are shed and regrown each year, while horns are made of bone and keratin and are permanent.
No, you had it flipped around. Antlers are part keratin and bone because they grow every year.
Yeah.
That's why there's velvet on it. That's the antlers. Horns are just bones that grow.
Yeah.
That's why you'll never see a goat in velvet.
Okay. Either way.
Well, anyways, so yeah, technical terms aside, I use them both interchangeably depending on who I'm talking to. If I'm down here in Texas, which I am, they're horns. If I'm up in Utah, it's usually antlers. So, or anywhere else. That's just kind of how it is. It depends on my audience.
Or my favorite term to call them is the rack.
The rack.
The rack.
Everyone out there, let us know what you think. Antlers or horns?
It doesn't matter what they think.
Whoa. I'm a huge supporter of our fans out there.
Oh, I am too, but it doesn't matter what they think. I'm right.
I'm actually with Brett on this one, or that guy right there.
Thank you, Johnny.
Antlers.
For once, Johnny's on my side.
You better clean the brown off your nose, Johnny, tonight. You'll be all right.
Dude, I have been drinking way too much to do that. So.
All right, now it's Johnny's segment.
All right. So on tonight's segment of hunt, friend, and kill, hunt, friend, or befriend, hunt, and kill. So 3 animals. You have to befriend one, hunt one, and kill one, or fight one. I'm sorry. So Brett, I'm gonna give you your first one. Okay.
Okay.
You have to hunt one, befriend one, and fight one. You have a whitetail, a pronghorn or antelope, and a muley.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna hunt the whitetail,
Okay.
befriend the antelope, and kill the muley.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Watch. You ready, brother?
Sure.
You're huge into predator hunting, so I wanted to base it off of that. You've got a fox, a
Mhm.
coyote, and a wolf.
All right. So I'm going to friend the wolf. No, I'm going to friend the fox.
Ooh.
I'm going to kill the wolf and the coyote. Then the last
And you'll
one's
fight the coyote?
Yeah, I'll fight the
That's
coyote.
understandable.
Yeah, I killed plenty of them in a day. so-
That's right. Oh, they're everywhere. All right. For the remainder of the show, sir, or Brent, I'm going to refer to you, sir. It's just what I'm going to do. All right. You've got a kudu, an ibex, and a martyr. Go.
Okay. So you said it's what hunt,
Yeah.
kill, and befriend? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I think I'd kill a kudu,
Oh, absolutely.
and I'd befriend an ibex, and then I'd hunt a markhor.
All right. I
Yeah.
think I would about do the same.
Yeah, I would absolutely love a nice big kudu on the wall. That would
So, when I was in northern Afghanistan, I straight up told my commander at the time, I was like, listen, ibex is my dream hunt. So if I see one, I'm going to take it. And he started laughing. I was like, no, I'm serious. And I never seen one. But if I did, I would have totally tried to drop one anyways.
yeah, they're up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Hey, John, I'm gonna give you one.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
I know it's weird, but we don't ask you this, so we're gonna have. I got 3 right here.
Yeah, it's only fair.
Yeah, you got an aoudad, bighorn sheep, and elephant.
And an elephant?
Yeah.
Elephants, yep.
I would totally befriend the I would befriend the elephant because there's no way I'm going to fight it.
Yeah, you would die.
Yeah. I'd hunt the first one and fight the other one. What was the second one?
So you'd hunt the bighorn sheep and kill the aoudad?
Yes.
Okay.
That didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
No, I thought I'd go a different way. I thought I'd go the opposite way.
You thought the other two would be switched?
Yeah, I thought you were going to switch them.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do that.
You sure about that? That's your final answer?
Yeah,
That's my final answer.
All right. Just
Could be the whiskey talking, but
Oh, that's our fun little way to start the show off, Brent. Can you give a little background about yourself, brother?
All right, so I'm retired military as of last July. I spent 25 years in the Army, just traveling around most places. Been stationed up in pretty much everywhere in the Western United States, and it seems like I kind of did everything twice. Went up to Alaska twice, been to Texas actually 3 times, and in several different places in between there. So Fort Lewis was another one of my 2-time stops, but I grew up in Utah, hunting big game there. It was seasonal every year. We'd get out and chase mule deer. Sometimes we'd get after some elk, and a lot of upland. Did a lot of upland hunting back then. I don't chase them as much now as I used to, but I still have some space in my heart for chasing pheasants and chuckers and the like. So did a lot of that growing up. But no, I just get out and hunt as much as I possibly can. If I can get the tag, I'll go hunt it. I'm not in anything in particular as far as weapon type. If it can be hunted and with whatever weapon the tag is for, I'll pick it up and go. Equal opportunity that way. So,
Justin here from the comments said, "Thank you for your service, Brent."
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support.
Michael asked, "Where in Alaska?"
So I served at Fort Wainwright both times.
Hmm.
So the first time I was there from 2006 to 2009. Second time I was there from 2015 to 2018.
Nice.
Anthony here, friend of Johnny's, says, "I was in Lewis for a bit, 2 ID,
ID.
Yep.
223, then 423, and then his other one coming and ended in Hood, first cave 19."
First
Okay.
cab.
Yep.
Maybe I read it wrong.
So I did my first Iraq tour with 3rd Brigade 2ID up there. The first, it was the first Stryker Brigade developed, and so we did that initial deployment back in 2003, 2004. It seems like it was just yesterday, but golly, 22 years went by in a hurry.
Yeah, time flies, man.
Jeez.
It just seems like the other day I was getting out of law enforcement. It's just, my opinion, it's the saddest moment. Was it a sad moment for you to retire?
I was ready to go, but I would say, that last 6 to 8 months, it was a reality check for me. It was a bittersweet feeling. I didn't quite know what to do with myself and how it was gonna play out. But once I actually retired and stepped away, took off the uniform, I was ready. It was time for me to go. But it is, your mind plays some mental gymnastics as you're approaching that termination date, and it's just something I was always told about, something I expected to happen, but when it actually did, it was kind of a new feeling for me. Didn't quite know how to handle it, but I'm happy with it. I'm good with it. Everything's good.
Bitter Reaper. I almost caught it. He commented, "I concur, Brent. I'll hit my 25 next year." He currently works in law enforcement out there in Idaho. Yeah, we're up here. Brent, let me ask you this: what is one of your funniest or most embarrassing moments out there in the hunting that you've had?
I was thinking about this earlier today. So I was we were up in Alaska. This is just a few years ago, and I caught hell for it. But we were up there doing just an annual bear hunt. I was doing it every year since the first time I was stationed up there, since 2006, I suppose. But this was, just a few years back. I think it was probably 2017-ish. We were up there hunting bears and saw this bear way up on the hill. And I looked up there, spotting through the glass and seeing this bear up there. And I was looking at this thing. It's like, man, that thing's just doing what big bears do. He was isolated. It just, there was no way that bear was not a giant in my mind. And so I put a sneak on, and we got up there, and I was sitting there watching this bear feeding up on this hill. And he was up there just minding his business. And all I'll add is we were in the middle of brown bear country too. Just generally speaking, anytime you're in brown bear country, if you've got black bears living there, they're pretty stout bears. They're usually pretty dang strong. You think that they can handle themselves in the middle of brown bear country because they've got the larger predator to deal with. So anyways, I was thinking, man, that bear's up there. He's just doing what big bears do. And I sat there and watched him I watched him lay down, watched him get up. And as soon as he presented a shot, and I'm talking, this is a long shot. I've got a big long range 338 edge rifle. And I'm sitting there looking at him through the scope. And I'm like, okay, just doing what big bears do. He has to be big. And so I racked one in, and I had him all dialed up already, and I sat there, watched him for an hour and a half, just waiting for something to happen for him to clear some trees and some brush. I watched him take a nap. I was watching his ears twitch a little bit every once in a while, and then finally he decided to get up, and he started kind of walking away. Watched him stretch a little bit, and I sent a shot up there and just whacked him. Pow! And then he, tumbled, rolled a little bit, fell off a little mountain face, went down into this creek, and and disappeared. And I was thinking, oh man, that I just knocked that big toad off the mountain. That's great. And so we gathered our things, and we hiked our happy butts up that hill up to where he fell, and I could see right where he had fallen down into the creek, and followed the blood trail, and he went rolled into the creek and down a little water slide and ended up in a little pool down at the bottom. And and we had to kind of retrace our steps, but finally we got down to the bottom of this water slide and happened to look into it, and there was a little pool and a little snow tunnel that kind of covered over this thing. And I was looking into that hole, and I saw this little paw kind of doing this outside the water, just flowing with the water, and it was not a big paw. I was like, there's no way that bear was the one I shot. And it was just doing this. And so I reached in there and I grabbed that bear, and it, and it couldn't have been more than 4.5 feet. Bears usually talk, up there, the average is about, average bear is 6 foot. Sometimes we'll kill them around 5'10", just depending on the hunter and if they've killed bears before, all the way up to like mid 7s is what we'll kill. But this one, was tipping the tape at probably about 4.5 feet. And I thought, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And so we climbed up that hill all the way to recover a 4.5 foot bear. And I got him, pulled him down, threw him up over my shoulders and hauled him out. And at that moment, it was kind of nice that he was that small, because, you're not going to take a 300-pound bear and throw it up over your shoulders and haul it out. But it was nice that it was such a small bear that I could do that with. It made the pack out a lot easier. But, when I got back to the boat, it was the whole milk on the lips type of ribbon that I got and all of this stuff. But yeah, that bear, I like to think, it's just because, I shot that bear, at such a great distance and with such a great shot, making it smaller even making a small target even made it a better shot. So that's kind of the way I like to remember it. But yeah, that was a little bit embarrassing. And there's been other ones along the way. I'd have to, think about it for a little while, but that's the first one that comes to my head. It's like, I wonder if I ought to talk about that story. But since it was a bit embarrassing, but usually I'm pretty, and what makes it worse is usually I'm the one dishing it out to these guys that are shooting little bears, and so for me to shoot that little bear, it was a humbling experience.
Michael asked me what was my most embarrassing moment. Usually I don't like to go urinate out in the woods or pee out in the woods, but I had to go. And so I'm going through my 20 million layers of pants for that 1-incher right there to get out so I can pee. Next thing I know, I can't remember exactly what happened. All I know is I was like looked away because I thought I heard a deer coming. And next thing I know, I looked down and I got piss running all down my actual pants. I'm like, son of a bitch. So it's nowhere near what your story was. But hey man, there's only a moment where you can only hold it for so long. I don't know. Squash, John, do you guys have a funny moment?
Oh my God, dude. How many?
I know, right?
So my funniest moment in the woods, was it wasn't during, or my most embarrassing moment wasn't during a hunting trip. It was during when I was in the Army. It was during a land navigation course, and I had done a bunch of them in my time, and it was for CIB or I'm sorry, your EIB, your Expert Infantryman's Badge. And I was in upstate New York, and we were doing it, and we had the land nav course. And you do daytime and nighttime land nav. I was doing my nighttime land nav. So I'm like, oh, it's great. You have like 5 points that you have to find at night. And I'm on one of my last points, and I'm going, and the sun's coming up, right? So it's like just getting dawn. And my stomach started rumbling. I was like, oh, man, I got to take a dump. So I'm like, oh, there's a cluster of trees right over here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean over there. I'm going to make it that way and take a crap in the woods, right? So I do. And as soon as I go over to this little group of trees, and there's this little pine tree with this like perfect branch to sit on to like take a crap, right? As soon as I do that, as soon as my pants go around the ankles, fucking people start coming out of the woods. I'm like, what the hell's going on? There's a land nav post like 10 yards behind me. So everyone's coming right to my position. Like that was my hands down most embarrassing moment in the woods. Because I'm sitting there fucking pinching a loaf, and you have like 7 dudes coming in, and you're like, oh man. Then you have to, shout out, hey, I'm in here taking a crap. So yeah, that was mine.
Squatch.
Well, I got a few. What do I do?
Oh, we don't care anymore. Let's get to our next question.
All right, there you go. I was going to start out with saying the most embarrassing moment was when I said, yeah, I'll be on this show. But, there was one time kind of like that same thing Johnny had going on. We had the sacred campfire going, and we were all hanging out and made the mistake of drinking cheap beer and making bad chili. And the next day it didn't agree with me, and I had to clear the safety arm in front of my climbing stand and projectile poop about 35 yards away, so it didn't hit the stand. And when it was all said and done, I climbed down and walked back out. My asshole cousin goes, hey, did you hear that loud noise? I thought maybe you fell out of the tree. I said, well, geez, thanks for coming up and checking on me to see if I was all right, you idiot. Like they say, shit happens. So there's my story.
Michael's got a question for you, Brent. He asked, have you tried tippy cow, or have you ever heard of tippy cow?
No.
Is it a question for me?
Yeah.
No, I've never tried it.
And please don't. You don't want to be like Brett. Yeah, it's a bad habit he's got.
Okay. So tippy cow, I love that drink. It's one of my I love fruity drinks. I'm not afraid to say that shit, but I do. And have you ever heard of rum shada? Brent?
Nope.
No. It's okay, then fuck it.
Yeah, move on to the next segment, Brent. Come on, let's go.
Brent, can you describe a time when you felt your absolute lowest in your hunting career and how you overcame that?
Well, so I've walked back from the Alaska mountains from Doll sheep hunts more than I care to admit, with my tail between my legs. So the first time we went up there, we spent, I think it was the better part of 9 days, essentially weathered out. We did see some legal rams, but on the move that I made to go kill one, I ended up getting about, so here's how the story goes. So, the reason I say this because it is low, and it was a great opportunity to kill a great ram. It was just didn't happen for me on that first one, and it still haunts me to this day. But I'm glad I did what I did. So we had finally gotten a break in the weather after having about 6 days straight of just absolute pounding winds up on the mountain, snow, fog, rain, you name it. Alaska is just one of those places that you go hunt, and when the weather breaks, you just hunt as hard as you possibly can, because you don't know when you're going to get the next opportunity. So anyways, we finally got a decent morning, and we got out of the tent, and there was a 3/4 curl ram. Up in Alaska, you got to have a full curl to be legal. So there was a 3/4 curl ram outside our tent, about 350 yards. And it was like, wow, we're living with the sheep. They're there. And so sat there and watched that ram for a minute, and we got geared up, and we went to the top of the hill to our glassing spot, and we started glassing and seeing sheep, all over these basins. But once up there is like when you see these things, you'll see them 2 miles, 3 miles away, and that can be, a multi-day stalk to go get to where that ram is. And usually they'll hang around, close by where they're at. So you can actually make that move and go find one and kill it. But anyway, so we got up to this glassing spot, and we looked out across the drainage and spotted 2 just mega rams up there. And it was like, okay, now we got to figure out how we're going to kill these things, because this is going to be a multi-day trip. And so I had talked to my buddy about it, and we kind of made the plan. Like, he moves slower than I do, and so we created a rendezvous point down at the bottom of the drainage, and he was going to take off and go get a head start down to this rendezvous point, and then I was going to go back, load up camp. So I went back, loaded up the tent, loaded up my pack, got everything in there. My pack's just loaded to the hilt. I mean, just absolutely, just, you see those pictures of big sheep hunters and huge packs and everything. Well, that was me, and I'm just packing it. I'm trucking it. I'm excited. We're going to go kill one of these big rams. And so I'm just booking it, and I get, flipping down this mountain, beating through alders like crazy, down through the brush line, getting just absolutely mauled inside there. But I'm, it's just in the military. It's like you got the mission, you got to get it taken care of. You do it now. And so I'm busting through these trees and willows, flipping everything, every piece of brush that you can think of is trying to slow me down, but I'm just charging through it to get down to that rendezvous point, because I'm thinking my buddy's going to be there. He's going to beat me there, and I'm going to be there with him, and we're going to go kill these rams, and that was all that was on my mind. And so I busted down there as quick as I could get there. Well, anyways, I got to this rendezvous point, and I took off my pack, and I'm thinking, where's my buddy? And, and I'm sitting there for a good while, and he's just not showing up. I don't know what's going on with him. And so I'm thinking, mind always goes to the worst, and I know he's not fast, and I know he's probably having some troubles through this brush and everything else. And time goes by, I'm thinking he's going to be walking up here any second now. And I'm just thinking to myself, man, I could have had this ram killed by now, and I got down there that fast, thinking that this was probably going to be a tomorrow type situation to get up there and kill that ram. But anyways, I was down at the rendezvous point, pretty quickly. And I was there for a couple hours thinking to myself, I could have probably gone up and killed this ram. And then, another hour clicks by, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's my buddy? He's missing. This is Alaska wilderness. This is huge territory, and we're up there in the middle of it. And and I know he's absolutely getting his butt kicked in that brush. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to pull my pack up, and I'm going to head down the hill and see if I can find him coming up this riverbank. And I walked about a mile down the hill, and I'm yelling for him, thinking the worst. We're up there in grizzly bear country. We had just recently, scared one off. We got bluff charged by a grizzly bear a couple days earlier, and and we were able to get her to move along. But we're up there, and I'm walking down this creek, and I'm like wondering, where in the heck is he? Where did he go? And and I'm walking down, and then finally I see this little guy come emerging out of the brush, just covered. I mean, just absolutely dripping in sweat. He's got brush hanging all over his pack. He's got brush hanging all down his body. I mean, just absolutely just beaten by this brush. And he says, Brent, I gotta stop right now. We gotta set up the tent. We just gotta go to sleep right now. And he was just absolutely destroyed by that that brush line. All of those willows and alders and everything else just beat him to death. And he finally emerged and got down there. And we just had to set the tent up right there, and we got him to sleep. But anyways, the next morning I was thinking, okay, we had a good blue sky day today. Hopefully it transitions in tomorrow. And then we went to sleep, and I woke up, and it was the absolute worst weather day that you could have thought of. And it was just just blizzard type snow, fog, wind. I mean, you name it. It was covering us, and we were stuck in our tent the entire day, knowing those rams were up there. And it was just one of those decision points after that. We were down to our last day. The airplane was going to be picking us up, and that was the worst day. And then we got a decent day the next day, but it was one of those days that I think we got to head off the mountain. We got to get out of here safely. It's not worth trying to push our luck and see if we can get up there. And that was a good thing we did, because the weather was so flippin' volatile, and we couldn't do it. But I walked back with my tail between my legs, knowing that if I had made a different choice to go up and kill that ram, I probably could have done it. But I made the choice to go back and make sure my buddy was okay instead. And that's what it boils down to. I still haven't, like I said, I haven't killed a doll sheep yet. It'll happen someday, but it just hasn't happened for me. Last year we got back up in there, and just we got into some rams. We just couldn't put legal horns on any one of them. So it was just a tough deal.
Bitterroot commented, I have a buddy with max points in Nevada for a desert bighorn. When he draws, I'm going to be his Sherpa. Be the only sheep hunt I'll ever go to do at my age.
Yeah.
He said it's his dream hunt for him.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the comment here? Robert says, I don't think anyone can paint the picture verbally of the Alaskan alders. Pure bullshit is what they are.
It's no joke. They will just absolutely beat you to death. I mean, it is such rough terrain to navigate when you've got 60, 70, 80 pounds on your back, and you're trying to navigate through that stuff. It is hell.
Man, that Robert's actually going to be a guest on our future show from Canada, so I'm looking forward to talking to him. But
nice.
Man, I always want to get out to Alaska. I had a buddy that I used to work with. He used to always, I don't know if he still does, but he goes to Alaska for like a week, and he goes out there straight for salmon fishing. And he'd come back and show me pictures of him, and I just slap him every time he come. I'm like, don't show me that fucking phone, you son of a bitch. I don't want to see that, and just cry. But it was so cool to see like the background and the fish that he was catching. These were giant fish too, and I was just like, damn. I just want to get out to Alaska one day before I die.
Well, you had your chance. You were supposed to be a cop up there.
I was just going to say, you had your chance to go up there, right?
I did have a chance to become a state trooper out there. Yes.
You could have whacked the penguins with the club like you wanted to do, but no, you chickened out.
I know, I chickened out, and I stayed home to be a cop here in Michigan. Yeah, what great fucking choice
How's
that
that working
was.
out for you?
What?
How's that working out for you?
It just makes me sad now.
Yeah, you're not hunting any dull sheep here, are you?
No.
The only penguin he's whacking, well, never mind. No.
Yeah, exactly. That little 4-incher. Man.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is your show, Brett. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, Mr. Bova, could you please run the show?
You just got me. That was a good one.
I'm usually good at that.
All right. Here, I'll cover my break. We'll do a 2-minute ad break for our promo codes that we work with. Then after that, we'll run Squatch's segment. I fucking hate running it.
Let's do it. Hey, go ahead and season your meat with something great. Try Flavors of the Forest raw garlic dust, made with only the finest ingredients for the finest wild game. Go ahead and use promo code Whitetail to save 15% on your next purchase. Go check them out.
Hey guys, how are you? It's the Squatch from the Whitetail Advantage. Hey, listen, have you guys tried rec broadheads yet? Well, if you haven't, you're really missing out. I've been shooting rec now for over a year, and I'll tell you what, they fly straight, they fly true, and they're deadly, deadly on a deer. You can get the HXPs, you can get the FX4s, or you can just get the regular HPs. Guys, take it from the Squatch. The guys here at Whitetail Advantage, you can't go wrong with the rec broadheads. If you tune in, you watch our show, you can use the discount code for rec, WA15. And that'll give you 15% off your purchase. And you guys tell them that the Whitetail Advantage and the Squatch sent you. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. The show's going to be great. Squatch out.
Hey, you guys have a passion for the outdoors? You faith-based and love bow hunting? Go check out Bow Addicts. It's BOWADX. Genesis 27:3 says, take your bow and a quiver full of arrows. Go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. While we all love to go out and hunt wild game, we'd love to also wear it and represent what we believe. So go check out Bow Addicts and use promo code WHTADV10 to save 10% off your next purchase. That's WHTADV10 at checkout. Tell them the Whitetail Advantage crew sent you.
Squatch.
All right. Well, Brent, what we do here on the show is I pretend I'm a NCON officer or your freaking friendly woods cop, I guess you'd want to say. And I
Conservation officer, you dumb fuck.
Well, we'll call it what you call it. I call it what I call it, you redheaded piece of shit. So anyway, I'll start asking you some questions, and you don't want to give me a good answer. You want to give me what you shouldn't say. So let's start out like this. I noticed the other day you shot a bear. It was a little on the small side. You know, there's a limit to how much weight you're supposed to be able to take out of here, and that bear was way below it. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, oh man.
Good, I got him. See, he's stumbling already.
Yeah. Well, you know, if it wasn't for that one story, I would say, you know, I don't shoot little bears, but I did. Mm-hmm. So if that bear was a little bit small, I think my first inclination would be to make my story say that it was my first inclination to say would be that it shrunk on the way here. something like that, you know. It's like, oh, my buddy poured salt on it and it shriveled it up, and you know, something pre-seasoned it with salt, you know, trying to get the meat to taste better, and it lost a lot of the salt absorbed all its weight or something like that, you know. Just go down the line that way. But I don't know.
With a line like that, though, Brent, I'd have to say you must be hunting with Brett Bovin, because that gives me some kind of line of crap like he would say most of the time. Do you frequent Michigan much, sir? Do you like to hunt over bait piles? And you know, we found in the back of your truck like 6 bags of corn. What's that all about? I mean, you know.
Those 6 bags of corn are for yeah, I better not say it. We got to keep some people in the house well fed, I should say.
That's right.
Okay, I'll ask this question, even though I'll take a second out of the real show here. Michael's got a question for you, Brent.
Yeah.
Do you know how to make pancakes?
Yeah, I can make pancakes.
Well, thank God somebody can, because Brett.
That's a jab at you, Brett.
So they make fun of me for sleeping in.
Yeah.
And he's probably making fucking pancakes. And I say on the show, well, I don't know how to make pancakes. I really don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to make pancakes. I'm too busy doing shit to learn how to make pancakes.
He was
I
up
make
editing.
eggs.
He was up
I make-
editing late all night. That's his excuse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was up late, guys. Really honest.
No, you know why I stay up late is because I have to re-cleanse myself because I have to stare at you most of the time in my life. And
Dude,
it makes me just so sad. I put that image in my brain
It's
That's
so
of
what
hard.
you and Pumpkinhead right next to each other. So I have to cleanse myself of you and your
It's
ugliness.
so hard to stare at perfection. I know. It's all right.
Oh my! I got nothing. Okay.
Alrighty, sir. I have a couple questions for you here.
Yeah, go.
All right. How would you say that your military training helped with your hunting? Like, so prior to hunting, what you would do versus since you've been in and retired hunting?
So what the military has forced me to do is to learn how to push myself beyond what I would reasonably call my previous limits, as I will, essentially die trying to do what I need to do, and I attribute that to the military, because I've had to push myself well beyond what I thought I was capable of doing, multiple times, and so. Generally speaking, it's persistence. There's some persistence, there's patience, and all of those were enhanced by my military service.
Right on. Now, do you have any good luck charms that you carry with you?
No, not necessarily. I've had hats that I've attributed good luck to, and I've had some things, but generally speaking, it's like I'll look at some pieces of gear on my table and just like, what, I'm gonna take that along, and sometimes it's like I'll look back and say, it was just because I had that one piece of gear that I ended up successful on this hunt. But generally speaking, I'm not I'm not superstitious in that line of speaking too much, but I do have a couple of hats that I'll never get rid of, because they were part of my best kills, if you will.
Right on. All right. Now, so you hunted before you joined before you were in the military,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right. Yep. So from back then to now, your local, or like your everyday carry, your kit that you throw out with you, how has that changed? So like, do you carry like a more advanced IFAK or anything like that? Is what I'm trying to hint at.
No, I don't. I've usually just so I don't carry any of my military gear. There's really nothing there. So the gear I have is just gear that I've accumulated over the years, and I've gone through lots of gear. I've used a lot. I've tried a lot, and I have come down to a very very basic set of things that I know work for me. And I really think that that's what you have to do. You have to overlook the hype. You have to overlook, all of the things that, you're being sold on the internet and whatever else. You just have to try some things over miles and miles and lots of different hunts and figure out what it is that works for you. And so I've refined my gear list over the years, all my military stuff, all of that, everything has gone away. I don't pack any of that because there's just better stuff out there. But
Oh yeah.
as I've refined my gear list over the years, I have come to a very basic set, and it's a basic set that I'll take on all of my hunts. So I might alter it and modify it a little bit to, just depending on, what I'm going to be running into geographically on any particular hunt. But for most hunts, the basic kit just goes, and my pack always stays packed with it, and then I go tear it up with it. But it's just been a list of things that I have developed over the years and refined and just figured out what works for me. And that's what I've come to. I've got a lot of packs hanging out in the garage that I'll probably never use again. I've got a lot of pieces of gear here in my gear room that, there's a good chance I'll never get around to using it again, just because I have finally refined my list to a point where I'm comfortable taking, that with me everywhere I go.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, what is that one item that you constantly carry with you on all your packs? So like hunting whitetail up here in Michigan, I used to say it was a knife. Like I'm always going to carry a knife with me. And then there's that one time I forget a knife and I shoot a deer. So then you just you're like, okay, well now it's bad luck to carry a knife, right? But I always have a rope on me. So
I will always, I will always have a knife with me. I'll let you know that. That's one piece of gear that will always be with me.
Is there a certain knife that you use over another one?
So, yeah, actually. So there's been kind of this push towards these lightweight. Well, I've got a few of them, and I'll cover them. But so there's this push towards these lightweight razor handles, like I don't want to go too far into it, but there's these little lightweight skeletonized handles that you can put a razor blade on.
Yep.
And they're expensive little buggers,
Oh yeah.
And I just could never bring myself to buying one of those. And then I got to when I retired, I was working in it. I still am, but I work in a little taxidermy shop here in South Texas, and I got introduced to the stuff that they're using in the taxidermy shop, and they've got these little plastic handled knives that you can buy for $4.99, and they're light as a feather, but you just put a Havalon blade on there and you send it.
And the Havalons are amazing.
Oh yeah, you put the little Havalon blade on there and it just snaps on, and I can do all of my work with a Havalon blade, and we use number 22 blades, just a standard straight up 22. I don't mess with the 60s. I've tried them, I don't like them, but those 22s are absolute money. I can take a whole animal apart with a 22 in a quick hurry. Now, it's not optimal for breaking joints and getting, going through and cutting a lot of heavy meat and bone, but cutting through joints and that. But I can do a lot of work with a little 22 blade, and it can be very, very precise. Another one I like is I've got a couple of Benchmade knives. One I have that I really like for cutting meat is the Benchmade Meat Crafter. And then I actually got a smaller version. So I've got the full size version and then a smaller version that I got from Western Hunter for my goat story contribution this last year. And that's a pretty sweet little knife too. But I'm always messing with knives and things like that. But the thing that always goes with me is just that little tiny knife handle that weighs ounces, and I can snap a Havalon blade onto it, and I can take care of, pretty much everything I need to with that.
Right on. Now,
Hang on, John.
Yep.
Better commented, I have a complete kill kit with a custom fixed blade knife made by a local knife maker. Kit had electrical tape to attach tags, custom mini steel, and a USMC multi-knife from World War II just in case. That's pretty badass. And then Anthony asks, Brent, how did you get into taxidermy? It's something I've thought about getting into as a side job / hobby. How do you like it?
So how I got into this is it was something that, I've always, I thought the same thing. Always something I wanted to get into as a side hobby, but it was more about, trophy care. I was motivated by, if I'm on, let's say for instance, I'm on a 10-day brown bear hunt and I kill a brown bear on my first day and I don't have a plane flight out of the woods for another 9 days. How do I keep that hide from going sour on me while I'm out in the field. And I just wanted to, solidify those skills, making sure that I've got that hide fleshed as well as it needs to be fleshed prior to salting, just to make sure that, the one piece of trophy that I'm out there to bring home actually makes it home so that I can do something with it, and so that was kind of my motivation behind it, is just trophy care, field care in general, is just trying to refine my skills that way. But I ended up, so the Army has this thing called a skills bridge, and it's offered to retiring individuals, and it's up to 4 months. You can take a break from active duty, and you can go learn a new profession, if you will. It's just to ease the transition for separating soldiers. As you're exiting the military, you can transition into something different. And so I applied for that, and I got essentially my last 4 months of active duty spent it in a taxidermy shop. I just asked one of the local taxidermists out here. He'd mounted a couple of heads for me through the years, and I just walked in there and asked him. I threw it at him. I was like, "Look, I can work for you for 4 months while I'm still on my active duty pay. You don't have to pay $1 for it. You're essentially getting 4 months of free labor, for me to come in here and do this. What do you think?" And he was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" And since I brought him a couple heads in the past, he'd seen some of the work some of my field work, and was impressed with my caping skills and things like that, because I've kind of been around the block that way a little bit. And he was like, "Yeah, I think we can do that." And I kind of told him my motivations, and he was like, "Hell yeah!" And so we figured out that we got the paperwork all done up. I turned it in, and it all got approved. And so I spent my last 4 months of active duty working in a taxidermy shop, getting one-on-one instruction on how to mount heads and put mounts together. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 13 months.
That's awesome, though, how long has that been?
I'm not
give you 4 months.
Yeah, I'm not. It has it at the time I got it approved, it had just switched off of actually 6 months. But I don't know when they started the program. I think it's been in the last 5 or 6 years that they started doing it, but I could be, way off base. That's just kind of when I started hearing about it and started approving it for some of my soldiers that were starting to separate. It's like sometimes I just let them go out and, just ease the transition. But, when it came time for me to do it, it was I wanted to learn some new skills. I didn't want to just go, go banging on some of the corporate window, or, some of these corporate places and try to ease my way into a job that way. I wanted to learn some new skills, and something that I can do anywhere I go. I could easily open up a taxidermy shop and start mounting heads at this point. I believe I've learned enough that I could put, some really quality heads together for some folks around.
So what did you start out on, Brent? Was it smaller animals? Was it whitetail? Was it?
So at this shop that we're in now, we probably, I'd estimate that we do about 85% whitetails.
Okay.
We do right here in South Texas, we're very whitetail heavy. We do a lot of axis deer. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of, there's the odd exotic that we get every once in a while. We get a handful of elk every year. We get probably I don't know, a dozen, maybe close to a dozen and a half mule deer every year. But if we're doing 350 or so shoulder mounts a year, mm-hmm. I would say that about 300 of them are going to be whitetails at least.
You guys run Mackenzie mounts in that? Sorry, Johnny.
Oh no, you're good, man. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I was asking him if he ran Mackenzie forms for the heads and stuff.
So yes, we're heavy on Mackenzie.
They're quality.
Yes. So in my opinion, Mackenzie's getting a little big for their britches.
Yeah, they're starting to wear their name pretty good. I understand.
Yeah. So this year has been awful frustrating for us because, not only did they jack up their prices on all of their forms, their shipping costs have been just astronomical.
Mhm.
It's just one of those deals where, they're I don't know if they're getting kickbacks on their shipping costs and whatever else, but last year we did an odd just this one for instance,
Mhm.
we put an audad together,
Right.
and it was somewhat of a special order type of. It was a special order form that
Mhm.
somebody wanted, and it had to come out of. Golly, I think it just came from up the road in Caldwell, Texas.
Okay.
But we had to wait for the form to be made,
Mhm.
and they sent us this $125 form, but they charged us $150
Mm.
in shipping to get it from Caldwell to Castroville. And that's where the shop is. Castroville is just right outside of San Antonio. But it was
Wow.
like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. And so we had some words with Mackenzie, called him up. We got one of the reps on speed dial, not just one of the order reps, customer service reps, but
Yep.
the higher up management level type reps. Every time we get one of those charges, it's like, call her up. We got to straighten this out. Every once in a while we just have to do that. But
Yeah.
what we're finding now, so we do a lot of Mackenzies, and I would say the bulk of our mounts are on Mackenzies.
Yeah.
We have been venturing more into the Ben Mears forms.
Okay.
The Mears whitetail forms are very nice. I would say, and I keep bringing it up because we've been putting these together, and they're different from Mackenzie. That if you're used to mounting on Mackenzies, then you're going to you might not like the Mears forms right at first, but the finished product on these Mears forms is just levels above. They are just so nice. And then we're using a lot of headquarters forms, mostly elk, but we're going to do more mule deer on the headquarters forms coming up here pretty soon. We got a couple of pedestals that are coming up and around the corner that we will use those headquarters pedestal forms on that look really nice.
So another quick one, not to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
go.
what do you get for a typical shoulder mount for a whitetail out in Texas?
So right now we're charging $900.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
that's a lot steeper.
I'll be out there in July access deer hunting. So, and I'll be about 100 miles from you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe I'll try to drop one off.
Nice.
You know what? So Corey, the head taxidermist that I'm working with, he is just a master at whitetails and axis. I mean, there's nobody better around here. I can't say, across the United States, but Corey, he works some magic on these whitetails and axis deer that, you'll get a quality mount back if you decide to bring it out there.
Cool.
Anthony commented, so I went through something like that, but I went through for tower climbing. Didn't stick as I only did it for 6 months, then ended up building homes, and now I'm building rockets and lunar landers.
Thanks, Dave, for rubbing that one in.
Yeah.
There was something else in here. Barrett said, that's what Dave Butts, the SCI taxidermist in Salt Lake, charged to my Utah mule deer.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, what does SCI stand for?
I don't have to dignify to answer that.
Because you don't know.
Because I know.
Safari.
Yeah.
Safari Club International.
Yeah.
I have one of their pins. No big deal, Brett.
I know the answer, but I don't have to justify my answer to you.
I should never have asked the question.
Have some respect for the boss, John. Don't.
I do, and I'm sorry, Brett.
Jeez.
Don't question authority.
Jeez.
I'm not. You want me to leave? I'll leave right now.
Please do.
We apologize, Brent. John's getting a little out of control here.
Yeah, John's an asshole.
I am. 100%.
No, that's squash.
So, Brent, do you have any hunts coming up this year that you're excited about?
Yes, actually. So I was just at the Salt Lake City Wildlife Expo, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but it's one of the bigger expos across the country, and it's the Western Hunting Expo that they put together. Salt Lake. I mean, all of the vendors, all of the heavy name vendors, especially in Western hunting, are at this thing. And so what Utah does when they have this expo, and it's a Mule Deer Foundation along with Sportsmen for Wildlife. Anyways, so Utah donates 200 tags to this. You know, there's a spattering. There's some mule deer. There's some elk tags. There's the once in a lifetimes, the 5 once in a lifetimes. Yeah, see, so the mecca for everything Western hunting. That's absolutely right. So anyway, so there's the like I said, the once in a lifetimes, some turkeys, some bears, and things like that. Anyways, 200 of these tags, and you pay $5 per application, and you go and you get to pick whichever ones of those that you want to put in for, and you know, and you're put into that drawing, and it's just another opportunity to draw some premier Western hunting tags. Well, anyways, they pulled my name for one of the early season any weapon bull elk tags in eastern Utah. So that's coming up in September. So I am absolutely going to be on that one, and I'm excited about it. They pulled my name out of, I think there were 4,440 people that put in for that one, and my name was the one that was pulled out. So I'm feeling pretty lucky about it. I guess I should have gone and gotten some lottery tickets just to see how far this luck was going to carry me, but
yeah, you never know.
What
didn't
weapon are you using?
What's that?
What weapon are you going to use?
I'll probably use a rifle, but I haven't committed. You know, I haven't totally committed to it yet.
PCR
or? So I've got I have a love for the 300 Win Mag. So
good caliber.
So yeah, I have not jumped into the 300 PRC hype. I do have a 6.5 PRC, you know, a couple of them in the safe, but nice. I haven't, you know, the 300 PRC just doesn't offer enough over the 300 Win Mag to sway me. So I've got, you know, I've got a lot of history with the 300 Win Mag, and I just don't see that the 300 PRC, you know, being enough to pull me out of that history. So
right on.
You like that over your 338?
No.
So I got you.
I like my 338s as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got you. I was listening in the beginning. I heard
Yeah. I do like those 338s, and they're just a different game.
Yeah, so. No, they definitely are, man. That 338 packs a lot of power.
So now with turkey hunting coming, or, you know, turkey season coming up here pretty soon, actually, are you a turkey hunter too, or?
Nope.
No?
No.
Have you ever, or you just choose not to, or?
You know, it's just, you know, I had to make choices, you know, coming through. So my biggest problem as a hobbyist is that I can't just skim the surface of a hobby. And so if I get into it, I'm into it, and I'm fully into it. You know, I end up just jumping totally into it. And what I found out was there's just not enough time for me to be into everything. And I was, you know, it's spread so thin with everything. And what I found is that when you spread yourself so thin, it is so hard to focus on the things that you truly enjoy. And so what I ended up doing was, and it's been kind of like this for fowl in general, waterfowl, you know, upland birds and things like that, you know, and I'll kick out on an occasional dove hunt here and there. But, you know, about 15 years ago, I made the decision to focus solely on big game. And it turned into a time thing. You know, I've got 4 kids, and I just needed to, to find ways to balance it all out. And the way I balanced it out was to focus, on the things that I really, really like to do. And that is just to chase big game. And I chase a lot of it. And so my wife, she's kind of at her wit's end, during the hunting season, because it just takes so much time for me to get out on and be successful. And that's what I decided to focus on. So I put a lot of the off season stuff, the turkeys and the spring things kind of aside. I will get out and chase some spring bears, but some of the fowl I just don't get as much into as I used to. But I cut my teeth on chasing birds, and there is some desire to do it. It just turned into a time thing and where I wanted to apply my focus.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Michael asked, have you ever hunted elk, Brent?
I have hunted elk, but it's been a long time. So in Utah, where I grew up, we do an annual deer hunt, but generally speaking, if I wanted to elk hunt, I was on my own, and I usually have a couple buddies that'd get tags, but they turned that into, most of those areas when I was coming up through, they turned it into over the counter stuff. They turned it into a spike only, so you couldn't kill a big bull in Utah unless it was you were in any bull units, or you just drew a limited entry tag. But anything over the counter was just spike only, and you could put in for the cows too, antlerless stuff. But the places I like to hunt were spike only. And so, I killed a couple of spikes there growing up, and then, joined the military, and I got sent all over the place. And, and elk hunting was just something that, in a lot of places, it just doesn't happen unless you get lucky and draw a tag. And then was up in Alaska and started shooting moose, and all of that, everything else just kind of disappeared. I was chasing big critters. I didn't care about anything that was going on down here in the lower 48. I was up living my best life up there. And so it just never got back to elk hunting. I have killed a few, in my younger years, but this is the first time I've got a decent elk tag in my pocket. So I'm excited to get chasing one.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, Brent, we start wrapping up the show here. And before we do so, we have a rapid fire segment we want to shoot your way. Okay.
Okay.
First question is, besides hunting, do you have any hobbies or interests?
So yes. I love football, and I love sports in general. So, playing them, watching them, whatever else, I love digging into sports. It's just something that I like. I like,
what's your favorite team?
So NFL wise, I don't really have one NFL wise. I did kind of, so when we lived in Washington, it was the Seahawks. I really enjoyed going to the football games and being there during their Super Bowl run, and those couple of Super Bowl years. I really liked that environment. It was a lot of fun, being a Seahawks fan during that time. And then COVID hit, and there were a few different things that, Seattle started doing. And it was like, man, I don't want any part of these guys. I'm kind of going to jump ship. This is BS. And so I ended up, kind of putting that by the wayside. But I do like, grew up, the closest NFL team to me was the Denver Broncos. Liked watching Denver play, John Elway days, and had a good time with that. I would say college football wise, so I grew up right in the middle of BYU country, and I know all of these Utah fans are gonna hate me now, but I grew up there, just south of Provo, and and we'd be out farming, chopping corn and things like that, and the BYU games would always be on the radios, and that's just something that kind of stuck with me through all of my decades, and and it just hasn't ever left, and I never went to BYU. I ended up going to Utah State for my undergraduate degree, but the BYU thing, I don't know where it comes from or how it stuck around so long, but it's always fun to watch them do well. So I would say that that it makes, if there's any team in college football that makes me happy to see win, it's BYU, and then I would say Utah State, and then my other favorite team is anybody that plays Utah.
That's a good one. Mine's the Oregon Ducks, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. Everyone knows that. Throw that out there. What animal is on your bucket list to hunt?
So I know we already mentioned kudu. I would love to get a good kudu. I'd go to Africa just for that one. But I do need to kill a sheep. Whether it's a desert, a rocky, a doll, or a stone, any one of those 4 North American sheep, that's going to happen. If I can't get all 4 of them, I want to get get as many as I can. Yeah. I do have enough, and not enough, but I am building points in Utah, and I should be able to get one of those hunts, within the next, I don't know, 10 or so years. We'll just have to see how it goes. But
what is an animal you want to try eating?
Nilgai. And I've had some. I've had samples of it, if you will, but that down here in Texas, that is absolutely the animal that everybody wants in their freezer, and I'm not kidding you. Everybody talks about axis deer, and I've had a lot of gemsbuck roll through my freezer over the last 6 or 7 years too, and it's absolutely fantastic meat. But everybody says nilgai is what you want in your freezer, and so I want to put one in my freezer. I don't really care for them trophy value. They make a decent mount, but it's not something that looks it's not like putting a 200-inch whitetail on your wall or something like that. But they look okay. I'm not against it. I like the nilgai trophies, but it's not. I'm starting to run out of space on my wall, and there's a very select few animals that I want to fill that space, and it's not nilgai. But I will absolutely put one in my freezer and enjoy the hell out of it.
Michael wants to know if you ever tried a possum.
No. I have no desire to eat a possum.
He's dying to find somebody that's tried possum before. I don't know if we'll ever get there. Anthony said, nilgai, the goofy giraffe deer. They're huge. I'm dying to get a hunt for those and try.
He's down there, right down by you.
Yeah. They are goofy looking animals, but they are made of the best meat.
Huh. Johnny, you wanted the neck roast out of a giraffe, didn't you?
Oh, you better believe it, man.
Yeah, he did.
I just want to find a crock pot big enough for it.
A crock pot? How the hell are you going to get the thing home?
Dude, you let me worry about that. I mean, you put me on the ground with one, I'll figure out how to get it home.
You're going to look awful weird leaving Toys R Us with Jeffrey the freaking giraffe hanging out the back of your car.
Dude, I've done worse. I guarantee you.
Fucking Michael. I have no words.
He's over his question limit. I told him
he's over his question limit.
15 per show, Michael. Or 25 per question. He's a 14-year-old with a lively freaking keyboard.
Dude, he's at school tomorrow, man. What the hell?
You should be in bed.
Yeah, you should be in school. I mean, going to bed for school. He's got one question for you, Brent. What part of Texas are you located?
So I currently live on the west side of San Antonio.
Nice.
And then he's got a question for you, Squatch. When was the last time you shaved that ugly beard? I put in the word ugly.
A couple of years ago.
You still look ugly as shit.
Thank you, Brett. You look like my nutsack.
Bitter. He said, send Michael a bill for $200.
Yeah, he's 20. I told him $25 for every question over 15 questions that he asked. So
that's right.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite state you've hunted, Brent?
Alaska by far.
Hell yeah, I would say that
I
too.
would say that
No
too.
shit.
Shit.
I've never been there, but I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It once you're up there, it becomes a part of you. And I even when I don't live there, I get back there up at least once a year.
Mhm.
So this year we're gonna go hunt blacktails on Kodiak Island.
Oh wow,
So
sounds
Nice.
in November.
nice.
What is the top state you want to hunt next?
I want to get into. I want to burn my points in Colorado, and then I want to burn my points in Wyoming. Any one of those western states. So Nevada would be another one. So Nevada, Colorado, Wyoming. Those 3 states. I've been building my points in for quite a while, and it's time to start burning.
If you could pick anybody, family and non-family, to go on a hunting trip with or share a campfire with one time, who would that be? You get a family member and a non-family member.
So I would say so one of my best hunting buddies is a family member. He's brother-in-law to my wife is what he is technically. I mean, he's not like we go everywhere together. He's just one of those guys that essentially knows how to do it. And when you get a hunting buddy that just knows how to do it, and you know what I'm talking about. You kind of know what each other's thinking, and you know how to communicate with them. You've worked everything out with them over the years, and you've developed this bond with them. He's going to go with me on every hunt that I do, and at least be invited to go, simply because of the way we've developed that relationship. And so that is I would say he's close enough to family, although technically not a brother-in-law. He's I consider him a brother-in-law, and that's what I call him. So we'll call him family. He goes. So non-family member, I would take. I've got a friend up in Alaska that goes as well, and this guy is just he's just good luck. That's what I'll wherever it seems like whenever he goes somewhere with us, although there's probably some extra adventure when he comes along that is going to drive you nuts, but every time he goes along, stuff's dying. And so he's my guy, non-family. So just because, I can deal with a little extra adventure, some, sticking boats on gravel bars and things like that. I can deal with that, if I'm, successfully hunting and getting things done. So
what do you think we as fellow hunters could or should do to improve the hunting community as a whole?
Get people more involved. I think you said it in we were talking about it pre-show is, it is dying. We are losing support. The antis know this as well, and they are attacking hard on a lot of different states. And Colorado has just been getting browbeaten lately on some of their laws, and they're trying this ballot box biology and game management through the ballot box, and starting to outlaw things. I'll throw mountain lion hunting out there in general. They tried to get that, and it was voted down last year by the people. And so these anti-hunting groups are getting a foothold in a lot of these states, and they're trying to get as much banned as they possibly can. And Colorado was kind of the target last year. And we had a couple of groups, CWRM and Howl for Wildlife, stood up tall, and we were able to beat it at the ballot box, but they came back with another one. And it's just, they're trying to put cracks in the legal system so that they can be open and expanded wider. And so the anti-hunting groups are very powerful. And Bitterroot says if they get it done in Colorado, absolutely, it's going to spread. You know, I just, if we don't stand up and take positions on this type of stuff at this very moment, we are going to lose it. And so we need as many advocates as we can get, pull into the fold, and fight this as much as possible, or we're going to lose it.
It's just sad to see that when I was growing up, what hunting was, and now it's kind of changed and evolved in its own way. And hunting's more of a don't get me wrong, I think YouTube and these podcasts are amazing. Don't get me wrong, because we get to meet amazing people. We get to meet you and everyone from all parts of the country. But certain things are just kind of falling apart, and we need to kind of go back to the old days where Squatch was a little baby and dinosaurs roamed the earth. Reevaluate
Jeez.
things.
Shots fired.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, I could be your father, Brett. I'm not old, so just be careful.
No, we already know what my father is. It's not my real father. I'm just kidding.
Milkman.
I did spin through Michigan once or twice back in the day.
So your brother lived down in Kalamazoo, right?
Yep, he did.
Either way. John, how can people find you, man?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me at Nitro Outdoors or Johnny_Nitro_Night. That's typically where I hang out. Oh, that and Whitetail Advantage, of course.
Yeah.
The number one spot.
Squatch.
So as always, you can find me on the Whitetail Advantage here on Sundays and Tuesdays at 8:30. You can also check me out on the Garden State Outdoorsman. Mike Nitre, Frankie Mystique, and all the rest of the bunch over there. We're a great group. Love to have guests on and have a great time. You can also check me out on my own YouTube channel, Outdoors and More with the Squatch. Check out my videos, my hunts, and my fishing. And on Instagram, as always, under the same title, Outdoors and More with the Squatch. And I thank everybody for your support.
Brent, how can people reach out to you and follow along your journey, man?
So I like to submit. I put hunting stories together and I submit them to these Western hunting magazines, Eastman's, Western Hunter. I usually get one a year published, and I try to put them together as the best that I can, and have photos to go along with them, and have a great time doing it. It's kind of my journal entry. So there's that. Watch for those to come out, and I usually let people know either on Facebook or Instagram, kind of what's coming down the pipe that way. But feel free to reach out to me. Right now, currently LTC_Brent C on Instagram. You can reach me anytime there. I do answer the messages back. Facebook, just straight up Brent Creer on there. Feel free to reach out anytime. If you got any questions about Alaska or want to get into some Western hunting, I'd be glad to help on any of that stuff.
Well, Brent, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come on the show, man. We greatly appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
John Squatch, I'll talk to you later.
Alrighty.
Have a good one, brother. I'll talk to you later, man.
Good night, fellas.
Well, everyone, that's going to conclude another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's tuned in for tonight's show. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the Electronic Campfire. Now, if this show made you laugh, made you think, gave you new perspective, please hit that like and subscribe button. Everyone here would greatly appreciate it. If you're listening to this on the audio version, please give us a 5-star rating. Please take a second, if you have a Carbon TV account, head over there and give us a positive score. That I'd greatly appreciate it from us as well. The audio version of our podcast gets released on Mondays and Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to be a guest on our next show, or you want anyone from the team to be a guest on your next episode, feel free to head to our website, www.whitetailadvantage.com, and submit your request through there. Or you can reach out to us on our social media platforms. Thank you to all the companies that have partnered up with here at Whitetail Advantage. I know we have some big ones coming up here down the pipeline, but thank you to everyone that's working with us so far. Now, put that cord in that slot machine, and we'll see everyone next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.